Hello there. My name is Dr. Jose Ramirez. I'm a local gastroenterologist who's been coming to this hospital actually since 1989. There was a short lapse there, but I've been back since then. So, I get questions from the general public regarding COVID. What would be your first question, Kelly, that you would want to know?
Um, if I was hesitant, could you give me some good reasons to get the vaccine versus not get the vaccine?
Okay, and that's a good question, a very common question. First of all, full disclosure, I am vaccinated. I, I got my first vaccine in December of last year when the Pfizer became available. Shortly thereafter, I got my second shot, and then recently I got my booster. Okay, so bear in mind that being a physician and part of the healthcare team, I believe in immunization. But since your question is, why should you get the vaccine? Well, first of all, and the reason we're doing this is to hopefully prevent the entire population from getting COVID 19. We know that immunization works in over 95% of the population. That means that only 5% of the population is not going to work. Just to put things into perspective for everybody, when you get a flu shot every year, that sometimes only works 50%, which means that this vaccination has a heck of a lot better outcome. What about side effects? Personally, I had zero side effects. After the first shot, I went to play golf, so obviously I had no side effects. On the other hand, I must say I have friends of mine that tell me they did get fever for a couple of days, they felt lousy, and almost like they had a respiratory infection. That is not uncommon. Um, those are the side effects that I've seen personally. Let me tell you this interesting situation here. My sister that lives in New Orleans had her teenage grandchildren come to visit her. And they were there for the weekend. They left and they called her on Monday and said, Aunt Sylvia, sorry, it was her grandchildren. Grandma Sylvia, we got COVID. Fortunately for Sylvia, she had just gotten her vaccine that same day. She was scheduled to have it. And she got the vaccine and she got a little ill. She called me up. She said she had a fever. She felt lousy. She was in bed for a couple of days. But since she recovered promptly, mainly due to the fact that she had just gotten her first vaccine. She went ahead and got her second, and now she's gotten her booster shot. What other questions can I answer for you?
Well, some people feel that the vaccine was made too quickly. How do you feel about the drug development process? Do you feel that it has been adequately tested? Do you think there's enough data to suggest that it's safe?
Well, that's a very good question because ordinarily it takes years to develop a vaccine. And the reason it does that is because we have what we call trials. In other words, we have people that are healthy, that are volunteers, and we ask people to volunteer for different tests. And then we have what we call high-risk individuals. First of all, when we're going to test a vaccine, we usually will test it first in animals in the lab, either rats or rabbits or whatever. This was an emergency. And as you recall, a lot of money was put towards developing this vaccine. The technology is there. Scientists are always working on developing new medications and vaccinations. Because the money was there and the technology was there, and fortunately all the bureaucracy was getting rid of. Because most of these things take a lot of bureaucrats to get involved. That's what delays most of these things. Having said that, because they got rid of all that, they just took the technology that's available in the lab and everybody went to work, all scientists from all over the world, would share their information, and they came up with these vaccines. So basically what they do is these vaccines are working at a cellular level. If I try to explain to you in simple terms what a cell is, a cell has a cell wall. So I'm going to just draw a diagram right here, just to simplify stuff. So cells in our body are circular, okay, so that's a cell. And right in the middle of the cell is what we call the nucleus. We got another place right here called the mitochondria. And the mitochondria is in charge of making a whole set of ATP and energy and everything for us. So the cell wall has little messengers that bring a message to it to tell the cell what they should do. These viruses will come into the cell and take over all the machinery, and of course then everything goes away. So what these smart people did is they attacked the virus by switching the virus's inner messengers, if you will. So when we say messenger RNA, all that means is it's sending a message to the cell that this is a stranger and to protect itself. If we attack your body, if some strange bacteria virus attacks your body, two things happen. We have cells that go after that virus. We call them killer cells. And they envelop the virus. They get a hold of it. They do that to the virus, they do that to the bacteria, and they get rid of it. That's what our immunology does. So we have what we call cellular immunity, and we had what we call humoral immunity. Humoral immunity means we could draw blood from you and check if you have IgG, IgM. Those are what we call immunoglobulins. But then we also have cellular immunity. We don't have a simple test to measure your cellular immunity. We can do that in the lab. It takes a while, but it's not available clinically. In other words, we just can't write an order and say, please check this person for cellular immunity. But yes, we can check your immunoglobulin. So for example, let's say you come to me and say, well, you know what, I have the infection. I had it already. Well, I could say, okay, let's see. We could draw your blood. Do you have immunoglobulins? If you do, that's true. You did have the infection. Here's your immunoglobulin level. What we do know is over a period of 6 months, that immunoglobulin level decreases to a level that you cannot detect anymore. So that's what the vaccinations are trying to do, to keep up with that level. And that's why you get one vaccine to stimulate your immune system to work. Then you get another one, and now we said a booster shot because after 6-8 months your levels are so low that you are no longer protected.
Will this vaccine change your DNA?
Okay, so Missy and I were talking about, and I was giving her examples that the COVID-19 virus vaccination cannot alter your proper DNA, your cellular DNA. I was giving her examples that when we get chemotherapy to treat any type of cancer, the chemotherapy agents attack all the cells in our body. What's new in cancer therapy is to take medications that will only attack the cancer cells, will not attack your individual cells. So the virus vaccination cannot alter your DNA. It cannot do that. It's not like a chemotherapy drug that attacks all the cells of your body and destroys them. Your cells learn that this is not good for your body and attack it. That's basically what a vaccination is, in simple terms. Do people that are taking chemotherapy, can they take a COVID-19 vaccination? Yes. However, studies have shown that their response is not as good as someone that is not taking an immunosuppressant. such as patients that are taking chemotherapy or medications for lupus or rheumatoid arthritis. Studies have shown that they don't respond as well. However, it's still recommended for them to take it because they're already immunosuppressed.